Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Spartan TV. This week is finals week, so good luck and make sure to study hard.
Hey Sparks, welcome back to Super
Duper
Rockin'
Cooking
with Slade
and
Dylan.
Part 4. Today we're making strawberry milkshakes.
Done. First, get yourself a blender.
Get you some milk and a measuring cup. You want 3/4 cup milk.
Next, add another 3/4 cup of ice cream.
Next, we gotta add some strawberries.
Now using your handy dandy blender, we're gonna blend it up.
Don't be like us and forget to do your 2 pumps of vanilla.
Pour it into 2 cups.
Enjoy!
Hey Sparts, Season 3 sports start today. Make sure you signed up for Family ID and turn in your physical.
Hey Sparks, this week on Spartan Choice Awards, I asked if you preferred orange juice or apple juice, and I asked if you do an egg hunt for Easter. Majority of y'all said you do an egg hunt with a vote of 87 to 81, and an apple juice one with a vote of 131 to 61.
Mental Health Week starts today. We have created a slideshow for you all to see the different ways you can take care of yourself and your mental health. We have included links to all types of videos such as meditation, yoga, workouts, and even listed accounts on social media that have amazing content. So if you are interested, please check out the slideshow for some helpful tips.
Hey Sparts, if you didn't know me already, my name is Love and this is my TEDx Hill High Talk. For about all my life, I had always known that I was a mentally unstable person. Now, being a junior in high school, most of the time I can only ever remember the emotional parts of 2nd to 10th grade. Growing up as a person of color, I knew that the way I lived was different, especially being raised in a Christian Filipino household. I definitely had some expectations to live up to. When I was younger, I was taught to keep going, even if I didn't feel like it. My Lola, aka my grandma, made us go to church every Sunday, even if we didn't want to. Around the age of 6, I had the worst meltdown ever that a 6-year-old could possibly have. I didn't want to get up. I was crying the whole morning, and my Lola still made me get dressed to go to church. Since then, I had never let my sadness get in the way of what I need to get done. That was when I had no other responsibilities besides being a kid. As the time went on, I was obviously growing, making new friends, hitting puberty, all of it, and that was a little crazy. Not really. It was more I was growing up. So I was starting to realize why my friends stopped hanging out with me. I faced a lot of insecurities during that time. I hit puberty, at an earlier age than everyone else I knew. In 4th grade, I started to feel disgusted with myself, and it was so bad that my crying every Sunday turned into crying every day when I got home. For a lot of Filipino Americans, it is a thing to be successful and happy. I hated knowing that. I was never the best student, I was never actually happy, and I was lonely most of my childhood. In 6th grade, I experienced my first ever anxiety attack. I didn't know what that was until after the millions of doctor's appointments that I was told to go to. Not only did I have an anxiety attack, but I had several depressive episodes. I used to be in a really bad place, like terrible. For a really long time, I just didn't want to keep going, and without sugarcoating it, I was basically suicidal. It took a toll on my life, and it was obvious how bad I wanted to give up. At the time, I felt like I was always trying to be the face on the top of the pyramid, like in Dance Moms, when they put the best person at the very top. At the end of 6th grade, I was diagnosed with a depression and anxiety disorder, which wasn't very common back then, so it made me feel very lonely. Like I said, Filipino Americans have a lot of high expectations, like being successful and happy. See, I wasn't happy. My family, who are now my biggest supporters, were in denial for such a long time. The topic of depression was ignored when it came to those conversations with people my family knew. They never wanted to believe that I was depressed. In fact, at one point I was told that being depressed was a choice. Every day, it felt like I was trapped in my room alone, not being able to talk about what I was feeling. It was embarrassing. I felt like an embarrassment to people I knew. That went on until this day. To sum it up, middle school was still me figuring it all out. I started to see a therapist, which was actually really hard for me to do. I had gotten so used to hearing that my counselor would talk to my parents about what was going on that my walls were built up so high. But with enough time, I started to see a different therapist who I could trust more, and I still see her to this day. Sometimes I like to think that I'm the epitome of the phrase burned out. Since I was 13, I had tons of responsibilities. Keeping up with 6 classes, doing chores, having a social life, all the things a teenage girl is in charge of. My older sister and cousins had always reminded me the importance of having straight A's. Because B was failing, C was failing, and guess what? D was failing too. Anything below an A was failing, and I engraved that into my head for so long that it ruined who I was. I could barely keep it up, I couldn't even keep it together, and I couldn't even sit down and write the quadratic equation. Going into high school, I still felt like I needed to have a 4.0 GPA. Technically, it's always great to have one, but sometimes pushing yourself to do that much can drag you down, like pushing yourself a lot. I was involved with student government, and I still am, but I chose to put that at the top of my priority list. I was constantly learning more and more about being a better leader and the ins and outs of a stuco. I'm someone who chooses to put other people before myself, so I always said yes when someone asked me to do something. So if someone asked me to make a poster for them, I was like, yeah, sure, I totally can. But I'm literally still in the middle of my finals. I was 100% okay with that, and at the time I had no clue what limits were, so I just kept going. It was the only thing that made me feel like I was finally doing something right, but little did I know that one thing I was doing wrong was adding too much to my plate. It felt like I had no time to scrape a little bit off because I just kept adding. Every now and then I still spiral. Even if it feels like there's nothing going on, I still do. A few months ago, my aunt passed due to colon cancer. Before all of that, she was diagnosed. I knew that at some point I had to let go. Every day, as time went on, I was accepting it more and more and more, and on the day she passed, which was 3 days before my birthday, I thought I was fine. But that day I got home and I sat in my room and I just broke down. Grieving is absolutely terrible and difficult, especially in the middle of a pandemic. This past year has been incredibly overwhelming, yet healing. I started talking to my therapist again, and when I couldn't see her, I would talk to my family. A close friend of mine once told me to give yourself grace and to remember that you do what you do to be someone great when you're older. Giving yourself grace means that you're giving yourself room to breathe, room to think, and it's important to give yourself that time to heal and love and to fall in love with yourself all over again. Now, I'm not saying that I figured it all out for myself, because I haven't. But every day I'm learning more on how to be there for me. On my 17th birthday, I took some time to myself and realized, wow. 5 years ago, I didn't even think about being here. I didn't want to. But here I am, blooming into this new version of myself, being glad that I chose to keep seeking the best parts in life. And if you are someone on the same boat as me, this is what I've learned this past year. 1, tell yourself that you deserve the best, because you are the best. There's only one you, and your job is to take care of you. 2, let yourself get uncomfortable. That only means you're growing, and honestly, it took me a really long time to accept that. 3, remind yourself that you are a warrior. Embrace who you are and learn. 4, know that there are people and resources out there. Therapy will never be something weird. I like to think that it's a big kid move. You are the one in control of you. Let yourself heal, let yourself bloom. Go out and find you. I'm proud of who you are and who you are going to be. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful life. Love you all.
Hey Sparts! During Spartan TV once a week throughout April, we will be showing videos that students have made speaking about the struggles they faced in quarantine and how they've overcome them. Be sure to tune in and know that you aren't alone.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Andre, your favorite news anchor, and I'm here to put you on some information for back to school hybrid learning. We'll be starting by going 1 day a week. Cohorts are assigned alphabetically by last name. If you have 2 last names, you'll be going by your first last name as listed in Synergy. If you have a sibling in a different cohort due to a different last name, that can be changed upon parent request. If you show up on a day that is not your cohort, you will not be let onto campus. There will be 2 different entrances and exits for students who ride the bus and for those who don't. At each one, there will be screening and temperatures being taken. For those needing breakfast, it will be served upon entry. You can eat outside, but not in the commons, cafeteria, or classrooms. A grab-and-go lunch will be served at the end of the day. Classes will be 45 minutes with a 5-minute passing time. That is not a lot of time, so students, we gotta get moving. Upperclassmen, if you see an underclassman who needs help getting around the school because it's new to them, we got construction going on, please lend a helping hand. We gotta do what we gotta do to make this hybrid learning work. It's new to everybody, so it's all hands on deck, including students. I'm your favorite news anchor, and this is Spartan TV. Gang.